This is a follow-up video just to show the film of how I got my analysis of DJ Reed earlier. I just talked during the video. And so here I'd like to actually show some of the plays. So let's get started. I'll vacillate between man and zone coverages here, to be honest with you. DJ Reed is very versatile, if you ask me. He's covering the tight end down here to the bottom side of our screen. It's going to be a target over the middle to Justin Jefferson. When I first saw DJ Reed play for the Jets in 2022, it was Ahmad Gardner's rookie year. Gardner was the left side corner and Reed was the right side. And then in that game at certain points, they started to travel him a little bit. And now, as I've picked up the film here a couple of years later, it looks like to me Gardner has generally been the boundary side corner. Reed has generally been to the field. But you can see with the ball in the middle of the field here, Reed is down here to the bottom side. And then that is Ahmad Gardner up to the top side of the screen. Great break on the ball here. And by the way, that is against Justin Jefferson. This is all 2024 film here, to be honest with you. He's got really great eyes. And also, when I said he had great feet and hips earlier, this is what I mean. He's able to keep his eyes to the quarterback, also match Justin Jefferson, a very dangerous player. Obviously, Lions fans know that. And then break on the ball. Yeah, it's in Jefferson's hands. But he contests everything. I liken him to a mixture of CD3 and Amik Robertson from a style standpoint, except he's just a little quicker than both of them, to be honest with you. It's a 3rd and 2 from that same game against the Vikings. Will McDonald on the sack. He's adaptable and adjusts during the play. So you have motion across. Here is DJ Reed, and then he's going to match up with 4. I think it's Powell. You can see he's a little grabby here. But he's very physical. He's not willing to just give ground to people. Very reminiscent of CD3 and Amik Robertson. I would say he's like in the middle of the two of them. The only thing is he's not as antagonistic as Amik Robertson, and that's a compliment, by the way. If you guys have watched much of my film at all from 2024 and even prior to the 2024 season, you know how highly I think of Amik Robertson and how much I enjoy the fact that he causes problems for pretty much everybody that tries to line up against him. He's spot shadowed up at the top side of the screen. It's a better example, meaning Gardner is down here to the boundary side, the bottom, and that is DJ Reed up to the top. You do get another sack. What I like about Reed, and this is one of the few times where I've seen him get crossed up, he's got such great feet, he doesn't have to overcommit. It looks like he's heavy here, from this kind of like stacked defensive look. I don't think that they necessarily wanted things to work out that way, but one of the 2 stacked receivers went under, so disappeared from the top side. And then neither of these guys is able to identify the match nature of it. He actually kind of slips down and ends up being a sack. One of the few times that I've seen Reed look bad at all from an agility and a footwork standpoint. Not targeted here, but you can see the pace that he's at. It's a defensive pass interference down to the bottom side of the screen on Ahmad Gardner. Number 1 receiver is going to kind of check up from this little comeback, if you will. On a 3rd and long. Ball's already out, but he's got great pace, great feet, able to stay with receivers on deeper routes. He doesn't have to give too much ground. He doesn't have to bail or turn and go too soon to match up with deeper concepts. He's just a very quick athlete, and I think you get a little bit of an idea of it here. This is matched up against Jordan Addison, essentially going to be a slot fade on a 4th and 2 in the second quarter. And you can see how on top of this, I mean, he's absolutely blankets Addison there. I'm not saying that he shut down Addison on every single rep between the 2 of them, but he's got a great understanding of route concepts, a great understanding of situations. It's a veteran corner. I feel like I said the same exact things last year about CD3 watching the film there. And I recall being, I don't know if the word is criticized. I really don't give a shit if I was or not, but told that I was being a homer about the CD3 signing. And I'm glad that it worked out the way that it did. Glad for him that he was able to get so much money. I'm certainly not glad that he played so well in Detroit that he ended up leaving, because I would have liked to have him back. This seems to be a signing that I think kind of accounts for a certain percentage of that loss. Is it 80%? Is it 92%? Is it 100%? I'm not sure. All right, moving on a little bit. This is him against the The Patriots, I did think that he had trouble twice in 2 reps in this game against bigger receivers or really tight ends. So in this case, you can see he's just really smart about zoning off and then getting depth. Eyes in here to the quarterback, but he feels or knows that there's going to be another route developing behind him after the outside receiver runs underneath. He's not targeted here. He's not a part of it at all. But when I said earlier in my evaluation video that he's better in zone than people give him credit for, this is what I mean. He's just got great natural instincts. There's nothing to be awarded to him on this play. I have no idea how that play would be scored by, rating services and whatnot, but I know what I think. He's got great eyes and the ability to stay moving in the correct direction and feel routes that he can't possibly see. He's got great peripheral vision, like a lot of DBs. I'm sure they train it. I think this is a much better zone corner. Do I think that means they're going to go, to more zone than they played last year? I mean, maybe. Aaron Glenn's not calling the plays here. But the point is he's more versatile than given credit for. This is a 3rd and 5 where he's on the tight end, kind of like this little zig release. The up receiver is running to his outside shoulder, so he's being threatened from a pick standpoint, even though he doesn't get physically touched. His path to get to this underneath route is walled off or blocked off by that other receiver. Hopefully I said it in a way that makes sense. There is no pick or rub that occurs, but functionally it provides that space for the tight end. I think it's a tight end, and Drake May finds him over the middle on a 3rd down for a completion against DJ Reed. Second and 6 here. I like his eyes pre-snap, looking in. It ends up being a sack. It bring a lot of pressure in New York. Are the Lions going to be able to get as much pass rush? And will that impact his ability to cover? I can't say that, but I recognize that there'll be others who provide that type of analysis. But he was staring in here at the quarterback and now has immediately flipped and garnered his attention towards the outside receiver, ran the route for him from an inside leverage standpoint, ends up being a sack, like I said. Zone reaction here on a 3rd and 12 to trips. And you can see he just allows 1 to flow through, picks up 2, so great eyes. And when I say great eyes, what I mean is he's field of vision, something like that. He's able to see the quarterback looking at that side, so he knows he's to the read side and able to deal with the wheel, whatever phrase you use as a coach or player, but deal with the wheel at the correct time, given the down and distance situation. So like I said, it's a 3rd and 12, and he's dealing with the wheel at the correct time, not jumping it too soon. Quarterback has to go elsewhere, ends up being a drop over the middle. Turnover on downs. Down here to the boundary, the ball's really tucked inside of the left hash. This is against the Texans, going to be a sack. Corner blitz, and this is what I talked about a little bit in the evaluation/analysis video. Again, if it's a little cheesy of me to separate them into 2 videos, my apologies for that. It's not by design, but this one is obviously not monetized because I'm showing film. The previous one, I would like some type of recognition from YouTube. I'm accustomed to getting some type of revenue stream from the effort that I put in, so this was a way to try to recoup that. The second film study video ends up being very low budget, obviously. So a corner blitz from a tight alignment against the X. And his burst is real. He gets from 1st to 4th gear now. Probably by his second step, I'd say he's passing 3rd gear into 4th. The close down is noticeable, if you ask me. Amik was used as a blitzer occasionally. Kirby Joseph, Melifonwu, who's not under contract at this point. Branch, great blitzer, great at everything, mind you. It takes a lot to get him beat sometimes. This is an example. This is a mesh concept. Tank Dell got him 3 times in that game. You'll see 2 of them here. Look at all the trash that he's got to deal with. This delayed release by the tight end. The high side drag route. So what I mean is, this is the high side drag route coming from the top side of the screen. And then the low side drag route, the targeted route, which I'm always going to try to draw in orange here if I can remember, is Tank Dell. And so as a part of that, you've got DJ Reed's blocked off, walled off from getting there by first the tight end, then the high side drag route. It's a 3rd and 5. Like I said, this is kind of what it takes to get things done against him sometimes. But, we know that as Lions fans, we saw so much man this year and last year from Aaron Glenn that's what teams used against the Lions to get things done as well. It's going to be a big play that he gives up, one of the few. Again, I cut it down from 80 to 60 and then to about 24 plays. A stutter go, down the field stutter go. So it makes it look like it's going to be a comeback. Tank Dell unfortunately suffered an injury late in the season, that impacted the Texans. Fantastic young receiver. And DJ Reed is, first of all, I like his eyes. He's turning back to Tank Dell, but that's after having eyes in the backfield first. So this is a 1st and 10, all right, just to be clear. And then he gets back on Tank Dell. Little stutter, gets him. And then C.J. Stroud, great throw downfield, gains 50 yards. Let's see it a couple of times. Just the stutter go element of it. Lightning quick player. The only rep that I saw of anyone able to get behind him. It shouldn't be surprising. Tank Dell was on his way to a great season in 2024 before that injury. In cut by the tight end here against the Texans. He's going to clamp down on this pretty well. C.J. Stroud comes back to it, pass defense. You'll get the end zone angle of this one. It's a 1st and 10. Thought Stroud in this game looked a little harried at times. That ball is soft there. It's in the right location, but it's soft, meaning there's nothing to it, and he's kind of laid it out there and gave DJ Reed maybe another 1/10 of a second to possibly get there, recover, and get the pass defense. End zone angle from the same play. You only got him late coming in here. Great timing. His challenges, I think, are pretty good. He knows when to arrive, and he does a good job of not, at least in the film that I had, of not getting called for penalties. But he did have 11 last year, so that just must have been in games that I didn't have access to. Cover 2 kind of reaction. Initially here, you've got underneath route concept, and then this kind of smash route that DJ Reed ends up covering. Throw that C.J. Stroud would like to have back, I'm quite sure. Sorry, I'm getting used to a new player here. I used to use Huddle. It's a different one. If you're interested, you get access to this if you're in my Patreon to basically watch film or produce content using this if you want to. It's got great eyes, if you ask me, and awareness from against this like kind of stacked receiver. Alignment takes away the deeper one. And then C.J. Stroud, I would say that's a miss for him down in the red zone. Still against the Texans. He's going to be man on number 1 on a kind of like deeper in cut, not targeted. It's a 4th down, a little bit more than 2 minutes left in the game. Defensive pass interference call on a safety who's reacting here. And in case you've lost track of him, that's DJ Reed right there, matching that deeper in cut. Like I said, on a 4th and 9. He trusts his speed. He trusts his ability to react and burst against in-breaking concepts or deeper routes. Finally, some film against the Colts. I got 4 of them here. He's got 2 routes to handle on this 3rd and 8. It's a nice throw by Anthony Richardson to Josh Downs. High percentage guy. You can see that Richardson's dealing with, guys being in his lap. And from a DJ Reed standpoint, he's got 2 routes to worry about. This one here, which I think is Pierce, and then Downs. Like I said earlier, it's a 3rd and 8. Ball out there by Richardson. He anticipated it. Lofts it out there for Josh Downs, wide open. Not exactly sure how they should be covering this. To trips, with you got an inside leverage, inside linebacker. Someone has got to be responsible for deep. Maybe it should have been DJ Reed in this situation, but he's also got an out-breaking route. Everybody likes those 2 deep, 3 under coverages, 3 deep, 2 under coverages. The math isn't really great there. In any case, 3 more plays here. This is going to run with Adonai Mitchell on a vertical. He's not targeted on the play, but you can see the speed, his ability to match deeper routes, recognize the concepts, if you will. Veteran corner, seen it all, played in a heavy man system in New York. How is Shepard going to navigate the coverage? Is he going to be similar to Aaron Glenn? I'm not sure. It's an in cut by Alec Pierce. And I think he's looking for an interception here. I think he's trying to play underneath of this late and kind of get the quarterback to throw it such that he can break underneath of it. Ends up being incomplete over the middle. Like I said earlier, if you watch the evaluation video, I really do like the signing. You may have a different opinion of it, no problem. Feel free to let me know if you dislike how I separated the content here. I wasn't sure how to handle that. I never thought that I would have to try to do something like this. If you're in my Patreon, the Discord, we're constantly posting up film. It's not just me, it's multiple other people as well. So that's a way to share film and see it in a more clean fashion, and then be able to discuss it a little more discreetly than perhaps we will here in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section. If you think other Lions fans would enjoy this one, please consider grabbing a link to this one, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach. Let me know if you agree with me that Brad Holmes is not done in free agency and that they're probably looking for some type of mid-level or above average level, if you will, a defensive end / edge defender to supplement going into the draft so they really can move around the board and do whatever they want to pick players of their choosing. Appreciate you guys' time.